This is fresh cow's blood, slaughtered just a while ago, and in a moment, these guys are drinking it. You might be thinking, what did I just watch? But for the Maasai people of East Africa, this is life. Not a dare, not a spectacle, a sacred tradition passed down for generations. We drove for hours from Arusha, deep into the untamed beauty of northern Tanzania, to meet a tribe as iconic as the African savanna itself, the Maasai. Tall, proud, and wrapped in color, their presence is magnetic. But beyond their beauty and grace lies a food culture that will challenge everything you think you know about eating. And what we found shook us. This is not just a meal, it's survival, it's ceremony, it's identity. Come with us into a world where life revolves around cattle, tradition runs deep, and food is unlike anything you've ever seen before. You hear the name Maasai, and immediately images flash to mind. Tall warriors draped in red, leaping high into the air. Beads jingling in rhythm. Cattle herded through endless savanna plains. But none of it prepares you for standing here, in the dust, under the same sun they've worshipped for centuries, watching them move like time hasn't touched them. They are one of Africa's most iconic tribes, the Maasai, a Nilotic people spread across Kenya and northern Tanzania. Today, they number around 8 million, and while many other tribes have merged into modern life, the Maasai continue to walk their own path, proudly.
We are Maasai because of our cattle. Without them, we are nothing. The cow is our wealth, our food, our life.
And that isn't just a poetic line. Here, your status, your legacy is counted in cattle, in children, and in the land you move through. The Maasai are nomadic pastoralists, which means they don't stay in one place for too long. Their lives revolve around their herds. They follow the rains, chasing fresh pasture. A mobile society with homes made from mud, sticks, and cow dung, built by the women, arranged in tight circles, always protecting the cattle in the center. Polygamy is common, in fact, expected. The more cows a man has, the more wives he can support, and the more wives he has, the more children to help herd and grow the family legacy. It's not just tradition, it's survival.
I have 3 wives. My father had 7. My grandfather had more than I can count. Each wife has her own house, her own cows, but we are one family.
That idea of unity, even within complexity, is something that repeats again and again here. The Maasai speak Ma, their native tongue, a lyrical, rhythmic language that carries stories across generations. Most also speak Swahili, and many, especially the younger generation, speak English too. Their religion is a blend of traditional spirituality and Christianity. At the core is Enkai or Ngai, their supreme god, who comes in 2 forms. The black god, Enkai Narok, who brings rain and blessings, and the red god, Enkai Nanyoki, who brings drought and hunger. They pray for rain, not for riches, for cattle health, not personal wealth.
When I pray, I say, Enkai, protect my cows. Protect my children. That is all I ask. Not gold, not money, just rain and peace.
And maybe that's why being here feels like stepping into a world that hasn't forgotten what really matters. Their society is built on age sets, organized stages of life that come with specific roles. Boys become warriors, known as Morans, around the age of 15, after a painful public circumcision ritual, done without anesthesia. They are not allowed to flinch, not allowed to cry. Strength is everything. As Morans, they are responsible for protecting the village and the cattle. They wear their hair long, intricately braided, adorned with red ochre. When they eventually graduate into elderhood, the hair is shaved off, a symbolic shedding of youth.
I jumped higher than everyone in my age set. That is how I earned the beads, and I did not move during the cut. My mother cried, but I did not.
Pride, pain, and purpose, all wrapped in one ritual. We walked among the homes, low, oval-shaped huts made of sticks and coated in a blend of mud and cow dung. Inside, it's dark, cool. A single fire crackles in the center. Beds made from cowhide line the walls. Children peek shyly from behind mothers weaving intricate beadwork. Red, blue, white, green, each color with its own meaning, its own message. Even beauty here is layered in tradition. Both men and women pierce and stretch their earlobes. Jewelry isn't just for show. It tells a story of age, status, and even relationship availability.
When a man sees my earrings, he knows I am not yet married. My mother made these beads for me when I was a child. I will wear them on my wedding day.
These aren't just accessories. They're family heirlooms, worn on the body, passed through generations. But despite all the color, ceremony, and celebration, what we came for, what still shocks the world, lies deeper than what meets the eye. Because beyond the warrior dances and vibrant clothing, the Maasai practice a food tradition that pushes the limits of what many would even consider edible. They drink blood, fresh, raw, sometimes warm, sometimes curdled. Cow's blood, drawn without killing the animal, mixed with milk and passed around in shared calabashes. But that's coming up in the next section. For now, know this. To understand why they drink blood, you must first understand this. Here, food is not just nourishment. It is ritual. It is medicine. It is power. And in the world of the Maasai, it all begins and ends with the cow. We've all heard of blood sacrifices in the stories of ancient civilizations. But this isn't a tale. This is real. Right here. Right now. In a flash, the blood is drawn, but not from a death. No, the animal lives. The sacrifice is alive. This is the bloodletting technique that keeps the Maasai strong. No harm done. The cow will live, but the Maasai warrior, he thrives.
We don't kill the cow to get the blood. We simply nick the vein. The cow doesn't die. It just gives us what we need to stay strong.
The Maasai's connection to cattle goes beyond food. It's a sacred bond. For them, the cow represents life itself, a living, breathing partner in their survival. The cows don't just give them milk, they give them blood. They drink the blood fresh, raw, sometimes mixed with milk. A thick, rich, nourishing mixture passed around in calabashes, shared amongst the tribe. The ritual doesn't just happen during ceremonies or festivals. No, it happens every day, morning and night, as part of the Maasai diet. The mixture of blood and milk isn't just food, it's medicine, it's ritual, it's strength. And as I watched this ancient practice unfold before my eyes, I couldn't help but think, is this even real? Could we ever drink blood the way they do? But the Maasai don't see it as shocking.
When you drink blood, you don't need anything else. It gives you strength. It makes you a warrior.
It's not just the warriors who drink. The elders do, the women do, the children do. Blood is life. Blood is shared. But let's pause for a moment, because it's easy to think. This is just for the warriors. This is their secret. This is their power. But here's the truth. The entire Maasai way of life revolves around this very ritual. Blood isn't just for strength. It's used to heal.
When someone is sick, we give them blood mixed with milk. It helps them recover quickly. It heals wounds. It gives energy.
This mixture isn't just food. It's a medicine, a cure. It's what keeps their society going. It's what has kept their culture intact through centuries of hardship. And the cow? It's not just an animal. It's part of the Maasai's identity. Each cow is a living testament to your strength, your legacy, and your sacred connection to the earth. But the real question here isn't just about strength. It's about the bond, the sacred bond between the Maasai and their cattle. Without it, they don't exist.
I drink the blood because it makes me strong. It gives me power when I go to battle. Without it, I am weak.
And that's the truth of it. They don't just drink blood because they can. They drink blood because it's how they've survived, how they've thrived. For centuries, this ritual isn't some ancient relic lost to history. It's living, breathing, enduring. They've survived famine. They've endured colonialism. They've faced wars. Yet, they've kept this practice alive.
This is who we are. We do not fear the blood. We do not fear what others think. This is the way our ancestors lived, and this is the way we live today.
So when the world stares, wide-eyed in disbelief, when the question arises, why drink blood? Because it gives them strength, or what they claim. If you asked a Western nutritionist to describe the ideal diet, they'd probably talk about fiber, vegetables, low-fat dairy, maybe some grilled chicken breast. They definitely wouldn't say, drink cow's blood every day. But here in the Maasai Mara, that's exactly what people do. And the wildest part? It works. We're standing in a shaded manyatta inside a ring of small huts. A group of women are sitting on cowhides, weaving beadwork and preparing food. There's no fridge, no pantry, just a few wooden bowls, a calabash full of milk, and a strip of dried meat hanging from a post. This is the Maasai kitchen, and everything they eat comes from what they raise, what they find, or what they've been doing for centuries. The traditional Maasai diet is built around 6 main foods: blood, milk, meat, fat, honey, and bark. That's it. No wheat, no sugar, no processed oils, no preservatives. Just what the land and the animal can offer.
We drink milk in the morning, sometimes blood. When there is meat, we cook it in fat. If we are sick, we take tree bark and boil it. This is our medicine. This is our food.
Milk is the base. Always milk. Fresh, sour, or fermented. It's the daily fuel. Poured into tea, served warm in calabashes, or churned into a thick butter used to feed infants and the elderly. Then there's meat, mostly beef, occasionally goat or lamb, eaten roasted, boiled or dried. But they don't eat it often. Meat is reserved for ceremonies, honor, and celebration. Fat from the animal is used generously, cooked into stews, rubbed on the body, even used as fire starter. Honey is a rare treat, collected from wild hives, sometimes deep in the bush, a natural energy source and a favorite for children. And tree bark? Yes, tree bark, boiled into soup or chewed raw. Different trees for different purposes. Stomach pain, malaria, even childbirth.
I know 38 trees by name. Some make the blood clean. Some give strength to the body. My grandmother taught me how to find them, how to boil them.
But what's most shocking, at least to outsiders, is what isn't in the traditional diet. No vegetables, no fruits, no bread, no rice, not even water, not as a main drink. In fact, blood mixed with milk is often used in place of water after long walks in the dry season. By all modern standards, this should be a nutritional disaster, but somehow it's not. Because according to multiple studies, including one from Karolinska Institute in Sweden, the Maasai show remarkably low rates of cardiovascular disease. In fact, a 2008 study found that despite their high-fat, high cholesterol intake, most Maasai had healthy lipid profiles and no clinical signs of heart disease. No diabetes, no obesity, very few cavities.
You see my teeth? I'm 72, no dentist, still strong.
So, how is that even possible? Some researchers believe it comes down to genetic adaptation. The Maasai have evolved over generations to digest high levels of animal fat and protein. Others point to their incredibly active lifestyle, constant movement, and exposure to clean, unprocessed food. And then there's the cattle. These aren't industrial cows. These are zebu cattle, leaner, stronger, grass-fed. Their blood and milk are far more nutrient-dense than what we get in a grocery store.
We walk, we run, we do not sit in chairs. The cow gives us clean food. You eat food from boxes. We eat food from life.
But life here is changing. As climate shifts, herds shrink, and grazing land disappears, many Maasai have started adding new foods to their diet. You'll see maize meal, used to make ugali, a thick porridge that fills the stomach. Some eat cabbage, known here as goat leaves, and small amounts of rice or beans.
I like blood, but sometimes my mother makes ugali. We eat it with milk. It is good, but it is not Maasai food.
That last sentence hit me. It is good, but it is not Maasai food. Because food here isn't just nutrition, it's culture, it's connection, it's memory. And slowly, bit by bit, that memory is changing. Some of it is practical. When the rains don't come, when cows are lost to disease, maize and cabbage can mean survival. But some worry that losing the traditional diet means losing something far more valuable, their identity.
When I was young, we did not eat these city foods. We had strong legs. We did not get sick. Now, our children have stomach problems. They ask for sugar. They get tired easily.
And that's not just nostalgia talking. Studies show that urbanized Maasai, those who move to cities and eat processed food, have higher rates of heart disease, tooth decay, and obesity than those who stick to the traditional way. So maybe, just maybe, the Maasai were on to something all along. In a world chasing fad diets, protein powders, and keto hacks, the Maasai have kept it brutally simple. Milk, blood, meat, fat, bark, honey. It may sound shocking, but here it's kept them alive, strong, rooted, and most importantly, Maasai. It's easy to think of food as something separate, a meal you sit down for, a thing you do between the real parts of life. But here among the Maasai, food is life. It shapes where they live, how they marry, what they believe, even how they dance. We're walking through the village now, not down roads, but between fences made of thorns and branches. The homes, called enkaji, are small, dark, and made from a mix of mud, sticks, and cow dung. They're built by the women, and they're arranged in a perfect circle, always a circle, with the cattle in the center.
The cows stay in the middle. We stay around them. At night, they are safe. In the day, we walk with them.
This circular setup isn't just practical, it's symbolic. Everything here revolves around the cow. Your home is shaped by them. Your diet, as we've seen, comes from them. But even more than that, your identity is tied to them.
Without cattle, we are nothing. You can be a warrior, but if you have no cow, you are poor.
Marriage here? Paid in cows. Respect in the community. Measured by how many cattle you own. When someone dies, a cow is slaughtered. When a child is born, milk is poured on the ground in blessing. Even forgiveness between families often ends with cattle being exchanged. Food is not an act of consumption. It's a currency, a connection, and a code. And then there's the music. The women sang in circles. The men have something different. They lined up, and then the jumping began. They call it Adumu, the famous Maasai warrior jump. Each man tries to leap higher than the last. It's not just a game. It's part of the flirtation, a silent way of saying, "Look at me. I am strong. I can provide."
If you jump high, the girls notice. They will remember you. Maybe you get a wife after that.
There's no alcohol here, no loud music, but the energy, pure fire. And at the end of it all, a bowl of blood and milk passed around. One by one, each man takes a sip, a ritual, a reward, a reminder. This is what sustains us. Every tradition has its weight. The Maasai way of life, so full of beauty and strength, also carries shadows. In between the dancing and rituals, you start to hear murmurs of hardship, of pressure, of change. And when you sit down with the warriors, the Marani, you realize just how deep those pressures run. We met with a young Marani outside his manyata. His posture was proud, but his eyes carried more weight than his words let on.
There are things I love about being Maasai. This is who I am. I was raised in these ways. I was taught discipline, strength, respect. But sometimes I wonder, is there anything of value in the life we live?
That's the question we kept hearing, again and again, especially from the younger generation. The Maasai identity is built on pride, but it's not immune to modern challenges. The homes they live in, built from sticks plastered with cow dung, are strong but impermanent. The fences, made of thorned branches, are meant to keep out lions and hyenas, but they can't keep out poverty or isolation.
We build with wood and mud because that's what we have, but there is no value in it. If I leave, I can't sell this house. No one wants it. We live in shelters, not homes. No roads, no clinics, no schools nearby. Just bush.
It's a raw truth that for all the admiration the world gives the Maasai from afar up close, many feel forgotten, disconnected from the systems that could help them, but also trapped in traditions that don't always serve them.
Sometimes I think if I were not Maasai, maybe my life would be different. But I was born here. I have no choice. Even the work we do, herding, building, people call us bush people. They don't see our worth.
And yet, Worth to the Maasai is defined differently. Here, you don't buy land, you don't own titles or deeds. You settle where there is space, build a fence, and that becomes your home.
If I want to live somewhere, I build. No one asks questions. The land becomes mine. But if I leave, I don't sell it. I don't care for profit. I just move and start again.
It sounds romantic, that kind of freedom, but it also means a lack of long-term security. No bank loans, no land collateral, no intergenerational wealth, just cattle and tradition, and even those are under attack.
Maasai people of Tanzania gathered to protest an effort to evict them from their own land.
As we touched on earlier, in 2022, a massive land conflict erupted in Loliondo, Tanzania. The government, backed by investors allegedly tied to the UAE royal family, attempted to turn traditional Maasai land into a private game reserve. The result? Evictions, violence, displacement. Over 150,000 Maasai now face the threat of removal. Many already have been.
They came with guns. They said this land is for the tourists now. But who will protect the cows? Who will care for the land if we are gone?
The tragedy is layered. The same land that's being stripped from the Maasai is land they've preserved for centuries. The wildlife that the world comes to see. It thrived here because the Maasai never took more than the land could give. Now, they're being told they can no longer stay. And even within the villages, cultural walls remain. The division between men and women is not just symbolic, it's enforced.
We do not sit with women. That is our way. In meetings, men sit here, women sit there. Even when walking, we separate. This is what we've always done.
It's hard to ignore the silence of the women in most community discussions. Even the homes are designed with hierarchy. A man's first wife lives near the entrance, Tatini. The junior wives are placed deeper in Kediani, the inner section of the homestead. Even space here tells a story.
The first wife is respected. She stays near the gate. The younger wife goes deeper into the home. That is how order is kept.
And yet, cracks are starting to show. Some young warriors question the social gaps. Some women push for education, for healthcare access, for mobility. But they face the friction of centuries. Even the food, their sacred blood and milk, has become a metaphor for what they're fighting to preserve.
You asked why we drink blood. It is food, but it is also medicine. After birth, a woman is weak, so we give her blood. It gives her warmth, it brings her back, it cleans the body. It is from the cow, it is from the land, it is from us.
The world is changing, fast. Tourists come for photos, governments come for land. Modern life creeps in. One bag of sugar, one box of tea, one cheap mobile phone at a time. But here in the dust of the Mara, the Maasai are still trying to hold the line, to preserve the rhythm, to honor the cow, to feed their children with something more powerful than just food, with identity. We came here for the shock. We came chasing the headline, "They drink blood." And yes, they do. We saw it with our own eyes, smelled the iron, held the calabash in our hands. But what we didn't expect was to stay for the culture. And that story, it's not about blood, it's about bond, to the land, to the animal, to each other. What may seem bizarre to us, a gourd of blood, a home of dung, a life with no clocks or cars. To the Maasai, these are not relics of the past. They are the present. They are pride. And if you open your mind, really open it, there's a lesson in that. Not everything needs to be changed. Not everything should be.
We are still here. Even if the world forgets us, we will not forget who we are.
So now we ask you, Would you ever drink blood if it meant survival? Would you give up comfort for culture? Would you trade convenience for connection? Because sometimes the most ancient things are the most alive. 10 out of 10. No question. Drop your answer in the comments and hit follow, because the next story might just change the way you see the world. See you in the next video. I am Edmund Weatherby, and this is Afrimax English. Remember to subscribe.